Hello， 大家好。呢一集咧，我係邀請我教會嘅一位嘅同工，佢係英國人嚟嘅。不過咧，佢年輕嘅時候，大概20零歲嘅時候就嚟咗加拿大呢度係結婚同埋定居嘅啦。所以今日想邀請佢同我哋分享，佢作為一個嘅英國人點樣去睇加拿大呢個嘅題目。Hi, Trish. It's nice to see you and nice to have you and to share your experience. You grew up in England, but you spent most of your life in Canada. So we'd like to give you the time to share your experience with us.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Hi, my name is Patricia Gorton, but I'm always known as Trish. I was born in the north of England, and I was the third child of a family of 4 and part of a large family. I studied to be a teacher in early childhood education and art, and then taught kindergarten in a primary school in the UK for about 6 years. I'm married to an engineer from my hometown, and we have 2 adult children who were both born in Canada. We started our married life in England, and then we decided to emigrate to Canada 35 years ago, and I have lived in Canada longer than I have lived in my birth country. We started a family shortly after arriving in Canada, and over the years I've worked part-time in preschool education. I'm interested in art and creativity, and I've volunteered teaching crafts with all ages of people from age 2 to 82. I enjoy swimming, walking, cycling, cooking, travel, reading, and many creative pursuits. And I'm retired, but I'm still active in my church community and the local community centre. Well, initially we came for work. My husband's an engineer and we came together. I worked in a travel and foreign exchange office, which was interesting, but very different from working with little children in schools. We wanted to experience life in another country and in a less rigid society than it felt in the UK at that time. We moved from a small, densely populated country to a large, much less populated one. We didn't really know what that would be like before we came, but looking back, I realised how fortunate we were coming to Canada. When we arrived, there was an initial period of acclimatisation and a lot of change, but after a while, Canada became home. We were happy to join Canadian life and bring our abilities and interests to our new home country. Canada is a young country with an old history and great potential. It is diverse, inclusive and welcoming. There's a wonderful mix of people, traditions and cultures that blend together to become modern-day Canada. Well, we'll start with my experience. We moved to Toronto from near London, and we spent the first 4 years in Toronto. I had never seen snow and weather like it when we moved there. Our son was born in Toronto, and at that point we considered returning to the UK, but then a work change moved us even further away to beautiful British Columbia. We moved to Richmond near Vancouver, and our daughter was born. Having a family of our own really connected us to the community, and we realised we were putting our roots down. We settled in one area, Steveston, in the southwest corner of Richmond, and joined the community there. We made some great friends, some with our shared experience and some with completely different experiences, and we became part of a growing community. I always think that people's journeys, that spiritual journeys are interesting. And I'm very curious about everybody's actually, but this is how mine started. I was brought up in a Catholic family, but at 18 my life became busier and I stopped regular attendance at church. 25 years later, I was volunteering teaching crafts in a United Church vacation Bible school for children. As an adult, I really started to understand the basic tenets of the United Church of Canada. Peace, justice and care, and the many paths to God really resonated for me.
I'm always intrigued by people's journey and experience. I think the for our viewers, I think the biggest question or wanting to hear is now you have seen two countries. The two places obviously have some, have different values, and for people choose to go to UK will experience something different. Do people expect, if they do choose, to go to UK? That would be, I think that would be the biggest question, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, Alan, and it's something that I think about often, actually. I've really enjoyed being part of Canadian life. I think I've got a broader perspective and an interest and an understanding of people, different people and lives, as a result of living in Canada, and I'm really grateful for that. The infrastructure for having a healthy life in Canada is well established, with organisations, networks, people and programs to help us navigate moving to a new place, because it really is a big leap to leap from one country to another to live. Sometimes it feels we're all together as part of a quilt woven together. In the UK, it felt a bit more pieced together by dialect or wealth or the way where you were born. Also in Canada, geography and nature. Canada's an amazingly beautiful and diverse country, and the nature is majestic, accessible and free. Children, as a parent, I'm thankful for our children. They've had a good education, good opportunities and life experiences, and both children have benefited from the freedom and flexibility of the Canadian education system, one as an academic and one as an entrepreneur and business owner. I'm grateful for the opportunities that Canada has offered to me and my family. Our family path has been forever enriched and changed for living in this great country. You asked about the differences between living in England and living in Canada. And actually there are a lot of similarities because they have been linked over the years. The thing that I would say about England is that the society is a little bit more rigid and fixed, and I feel, I may be wrong about this, but it feels like it's harder to break into that society, whereas Canada is a young country and it feels that it's easier to enter in. Everyone was very welcoming, and you worked hard and you combined and you became community. And I'm not totally sure, but it might be a little bit harder to break in England. That's just my observation. But there are some wonderful things about both countries. And it's a big leap of faith to try your best in both countries. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah.
Well, I think, thank you so much for sharing this to us. I somehow get the idea that both countries are marvelous, wonderful and beautiful, and people are nice. But having said that, obviously, two countries have two different histories. One is older, much more established ages ago. Canada is much younger, and because we are pushing for many years now, like multicultural and intercultural, so you tend to see more diversity. Not to say UK is not diverse, but still, there's a different dynamics. So I'm sure for people, if they choose and settled in UK, will have a good experience of that country. And same for people who come here, will experience a much younger country which has more room for exploration and integration.
Yes, and everyone's got their own roots. Everyone in Canada has got their own story about how they got there. Whereas in England, there's quite a lot of entrenched people who've been there for centuries. So it's very different in that way.
Right， 所以咧今日好開心聽到 Trish 同我哋分享，其實兩個地方都係一個好友善嘅地方，不過大家嘅經歷可能有少少嘅唔同。今日就好開心可以聽到佢嘅故事嘅。